Hello and welcome to Managing Across Cultures for Global Management 4331 with Professor Wingelneck. Today we will be discussing the differences and similarities in management in various countries. We will be examining several countries and referring to their business styles and practices. But first, before we proceed in such amazing topics, let's meet our semester project team. Gary Warren, a United States Navy veteran, majoring in supply chain management. Myself, Veronica Erdman, a United States Army veteran, majoring in human resources. And Tabitha West, who is currently working in inventory management and majoring in supply chain management. Some key terms to look out for today are ethnocentric, simplification, globalization imperative, guanoxy, geocentric, parochialism, regiocentric, and polycentric, which we will cover later in the slides. Before we get underway with our discussion, let's ask ourselves some questions. What do we believe to be some cultural similarities? Is a handshake a universal gesture of a greeting? Would we know how to greet a prospective client from Russia? Or what do we believe to be cultural differences? Is the belief that time is money also universal? How would we negotiate a deal with a company in China? Would something we consider to be no big deal actually offend someone from Brazil? Today's objectives, we will cover cultural differences and similarities and the different strategies that may affect cultural differences. In today's work environment, we have a vast amount of cultures within our country and those who work abroad. It is important to know and understand these different cultures and accept that they may expect certain mannerisms from people they are conducting business with. Before extensive research was conducted on cross-cultural practices, it was widely acceptable to recreate management practices utilized within the home country organizations as their standard operating procedure in their company abroad. So to help us work through these cultural bridges, we will cover some strategies. Multinational corporations, or MNCs, that are capable of adjusting to both cultural differences and similarities are better equipped to thrive. Keeping up with modern technology while displaying acceptable cultural mannerisms are keys to success for companies today. One example we learned from the chapter comes from the French automaker Renault. Renault acquired ownership in several different foreign automakers and began marketing the sedan car model under which of its brands which would be the most familiar to the local market. One car marketed to their specific cultural markets. Strategic predispositions. Are an ethnocentric multinational corporation will possess personal practices where key positions are held by the multinational corporation home country employees. A polycentric multinational corporation would develop local nationalities to employ key positions in the host country. To where a regiocentric multinational corporation would develop anyone from the region to employ these key positions. Lastly, a geocentric multinational corporation employs anyone from the world to these key company positions. Here we have some examples of polycentric organizations. John Deere is an agricultural and construction equipment manufacturer which in 2019 posted $3.6 billion in revenues. Cisco, with $13.4 billion in revenues, is a network product design company. Finally, OboPay, a digital payment technology company with revenue of $2.72 million reported in 2017. All three of these companies are turning this ethnocentric 20th century R&D model on its head by de-Westernizing their business model and using India as the launchpad for their polycentric approach. The globalization imperative is key in managing a successful multinational corporation. It focuses on addressing local needs to capture the market niches in those localized areas. Globalization is a way of life. It encourages diversity in markets and promotes a uniformity of opinion. Here we have some key definitions of cross-cultural differences. First, we have parochialism, which is the view of the world through one's own eyes and believing one's own way of business is the best. Next, we have simplification, which is conducting business in the same way, but with different cultures. It's imperative that companies break through these two barriers to allow their organization to better understand the culture in which business is conducted. This practice will produce more effective international managers and create better working relationships with other companies. Here we have cross-culture similarities. Cross-cultural similarities studies can be used to find similarities in different cultural markets. One such cross-cultural study of Korea and the United States found evidence that organizational behavior concepts delivered similar results. One common similarity is the larger corporation, or as the organization increases in size and profit, the employee commitment to that organization decreases. Another similarity that increased employee commitment were organization behaviors that geared more toward a positive work environment and more employee-focused work environments. Now it's time to test your knowledge. Which of the following is not a successful trait of a MNC? A. MNCs sees themselves as a multinational enterprise. B. MNCs develop integrated, innovative strategies, making it difficult for the competition. C. MNCs allow their outside directors to play an active role in the organization. Or D. MNCs operate in individual small markets. The correct answer is D. MNCs operate in individual small markets. One more knowledge check. What is international management? A. The process of completing activities with and through other people. B. The process of which companies undertake some activities to offshore locations. Or C, the process of applying management concepts and techniques in a multinational environment? The correct answer is C, the process of applying management concepts and techniques in a multinational environment. Now to discuss some cross-cultural differences. To go with modern times, we are going to look at Russia. When dealing with corporations in Russia, it is key to build a solid relationship. Russians also prefer to have locals working in the corporation, and to where Americans prefer to have things instant and now. Russians take their time. So it is key to have patience in order to conduct successful dealings with Russia. In India, though they speak English, they prefer that people follow a cultural style dress code, and courtesy toward others is very important. In France, we know that they are all about the finer things in life and the quality of life. This is true in the corporate world as well. Social status and hierarchy are very important. In Brazil, their corporate culture has a very relaxed work ethic. Though relaxed, physical contact is not acceptable there. Due to the tropical climates, their physical appearance is a little different in the corporate world. So you may not see as many suits in a boardroom meeting versus flowing and breathable style clothing. Now on to the Middle East, where they are very religious, and they also include that in their corporate world. They require a copious amount of respect toward them. In the Chinese culture, they require a vast amount of technical experience and competency. China is another culture that requires patience. Guanxi means good connections. So it is a who you know type of corporate world. Now that we have discussed how multinational corporations manage their operations across different cultures, take some time to consider how you can be an effective global manager or international business owner. Consider what steps are necessary to expand operations globally. Think about which company you may want to expand into and why you chose that country. Is it because they are a religious culture? Or is it because the culture is more structured, possibly requiring technical competency? Could it even be due to their form of business attire? Here we have provided a short video, so be sure to hit play on that on the non-voiceover version, but it's on cross-cultural management, and we hope you enjoy that video there.
What do I know about this person's culture?
And here we have our references. We want to thank you again for viewing our presentation, and we hope you have a good day.